Good evening. My name is Commander Andragon, husband and senior disciple of Avatar Electra, the spiritual master who's living today as the human incarnation of the great goddess, and the spiritual master who lived as Lord Jesus about 2,000 years ago. On this broadcast, I'm going to share explosive and alarming evidence with you about the futuristic technology being used as a weapon to attack the avatar relentlessly on a daily nightly basis by Donald John Trump and members of her family over the decades. This information is important for you, our human sisters and brothers, to become aware of and informed by, so that you can then start asking questions about the presence of a technology on this planet that is the most invasive, intrusive, and evasive technology found today, and a technology which is in the possession of the American military, buried deep inside their black ops programs as one of the most highly classified technology. As I mentioned in the last broadcast, Avatar Electra has been attacked continuously by Donald John Trump, who comes into our home where we've lived in the past number of decades, unseen, wearing a cloak of invisibility, looking like a shadow as he teleports himself through the fourth dimension, cloaked into every place we've called home, and attacked, torment, torture, and terrorize the body of Avatar Electra on a daily nightly basis, and continues to commit these crimes against the great goddess today. In the last broadcast, I told you about how he has been coming into our home where we've lived, and he has attacked the avatar inside her head, cutting off her hair, attacking her eyes with shards, attacking her teeth, mouth, removing teeth from her mouth, attacking her shoulders, joints, attacking her body from head to toe, attacking her womb and rectum, causing her excruciating pain, attacking the cavities of her brain with a dagger made of white light, and causing her, and doing so over a number of decades, and causing the being who lived as Lord Jesus, Lord Buddha, Lord Krishna, and some other deities to reach a state where she is no longer in complete control of her conscious memory because of the damages done to the cavities of her brain by Donald John Trump using that technology that was given to him by the lady known as Nancy Pelosi. And he has been instructed to use this technology to commit crimes against the female messiah living as Avatar Electra on a daily nightly basis for a number of decades now. So the evidence of this technology I will share with you, most likely in one or two parts. And the first thing I need to tell you is that on the 1st of May, a number of decades ago, the Lord Jesus made a remarkable and inconspicuous return to planet Earth like a thief in the night with a new, different, and completely unexpected identity. And the volume is too low. I can't do. I need sound wave back on. This is not helping me. The avatar returned to this planet. I can't do both. The sounds here conflicting. I've got to. To continue my broadcast, I use the sound machine to hear the sound of one of the elemental children of Mother Earth, the water spirit, moving the water through the ocean. So the ocean sound is very powerful and healing and um, invigorating. To continue, Avatar Galactra returned to this planet as the Lord Jesus returned to this planet as the fifth child of the lady known as Lady Yvonne and her husband Lester Paul. Um, and she was born inside the maternity ward of the hospital in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago, her birth country, and has been the target of continuous terrorization from birth by those who have been using this weapon, this futuristic technology, to attack the avatar, continuously trying to prevent her, trying to push her back to the spiritual realms where we all come from, and prevent her from doing the sacred work that she came here to do, which is to bring all beings together for life forms so that they can learn to work together as one earth family and create a world that works for everyone, that is unjust and unfair to no one, and which serves the greater good of all of life and all life forms and life, as the Avatar teaches. So the alarming evidence of this technology being used today by those who are using it to travel through the fourth dimension unseen, looking like shadows and attacking human beings from inside the fourth dimension. The first evidence is the evidence of the day that the avatar was born. When she was born, an unseen assassin from the American military came into the maternity ward of Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago, and saw the holy child laying next to her mother in a cradle. And he went up to this newborn goddess, placed his left hand over her mouth and nostrils with the intention of completely suffocating this divine being to death. Immediately after he did so, the avatar was told by one of her sister goddesses to hold your breath and play dead. And this newborn, the great goddess in the body of this newborn baby, held her breath for so long and for so well that the unseen assassin was convinced that he had ended the mortal life of Avatar Galactra the day that she came to this planet as the one who lived as Lord Jesus about 2,000 years ago. There was evidence for this unseen assassin to let him know about the identity of this divine being. There was a star of light that was shining inside the center of her forehead, third eye, inner eye, mind's eye, the spirit's eye, and there's also a bunch of grapes tattooed on her right shoulder, two evidence of cosmic royalty. Fast forward to evidence of the use of this technology by Donald John Trump against his family. Avatar Galactra recalls what this technology looks like in documents which were put together to uh, put together a book, Project Breakthrough. Information about that later. She says that this technology looks like a round, golden colored miniature spaceship that has an upper section to it with lights blinking from inside as if it's alive. She describes this spaceship as something that could fit easily on any round table inside most living rooms across this planet today. This technology, she saw this in her mind's eye one night from inside the room where we were staying in this facility called Travel Lodge. So the idea that there is a technology that is in the form of a golden round miniature spacecraft in the possession of the American military buried deep inside the Black Ops program is something which should be alarming and um, awful for human beings to hear. I'll talk about that. I did an earlier show, but I'll go back and talk about it as well. So we move on to the next evidence of this alarming technology. Um, the avatar saw Donald Trump one night when she was climbing onto the bed of our home when we lived at Scott Street, and she accidentally touched the unseen shoulder of this metaphysical being, and instantly she saw in her third eye that he was wearing something that looks like a synthetic material lined with a silicone texture that covered his entire body, and she recognized this being as the person whom she identified later on to be Donald John Trump. Another evidence of the presence of this technology is was given to the avatar um, when Donald Trump entered the maternity ward of St. Michael's General Hospital in October 22, 1981, and he went up to where she was laying with our newborn baby girl, Princess Mahogany Kavanagh, on her stomach, fast asleep, and he picked her up off the avatar's stomach unseen, lifted her up about 6 feet in the air, moved back about 6 feet, and then dropped our newborn baby daughter on the cold concrete floor. What the avatar saw at the time of this incredible event was that our daughter had levitated herself from her stomach, lifted up about 6 feet, moved back another 6 feet, and dropped suddenly to the floor. So when our daughter dropped to the concrete floor that morning in St. Michael's General Hospital, someone in the ward next door screamed out to the avatar, "You dropped your baby." The avatar thought to herself, "No, I did not drop my baby. My baby flew on her own," as sometimes happen with the children of gods. When they're born, they can do remarkable, miraculous things. Next, evidence of the use of this technology took place when the king of pop, Michael Jackson, my oldest spiritual brother, died on June 25th, 2009, on his bed. And the official story was that he was poisoned with propofol by Dr. Conrad Murray, that he was giving MJ to help him to sleep and be able to get the rest he needs to be able to prepare for the tour he was going to do, the comeback tour. What happened to Michael Jackson, though, that was that he was assassinated by Donald John Trump and another unseen member of the American government at the time. Michael told me in one of the 100 visits he made to our home after he died, May of 2009, early May, he told me in the summer of 2014, he said, "Andrew, they killed me while I was sleeping as I hovered over my lifeless body and stared down. As I hovered near the ceiling and stared down at my lifeless body, I saw these two shadows giving each other a high five after they realized that they'd taken my mortal life from me." He did not know at the time whom these two shadows were, but we were informed later on that one of these two human shadows, who was cloaked, was and is the soul living as Donald John Trump today. He's the same person who, on different occasions, caused MJ to fall off the stage and also set his hair on fire during that Pepsi commercial unseen. More evidence of the use of this technology on this planet. One evening while we were about to do a show, the advertised show, this same show, I knew we've been in the summer of 2019 from our home at Scott Street, 251 Scott Street, where we lived as a family, a three-bedroom bungalow. The avatar sat on a bench like I'm sitting in a chair, and she rang this dinner bell around her head to see if there was any evidence of anyone inside her body. As we came to find out, when Donald Trump and other unseen criminals had come into our home and attacked, tortured, tormented our daughter, Princess Mahogany, daily and nightly for a number of months, going into her body and using her body as a Trojan horse to talk to us about our daughter, to talk to the avatar about different things that she does and how someone goes about becoming an avatar, and telling us about how they were working for different stations. They use this technology. It has the capacity to turn human beings into Manchurian candidates, which means they can control your mind and body from the outside without your knowledge of any kind, and make you do, say, or feel things that you would not do, say, or feel on your own. So our daughter was terrorized for a number of months by Donald Trump, making her go out late at night, spend her money on different things, fast foods, takeout foods, often not dressed warmly, and causing our daughter to call us evil and tell us that we're not her parents, and making her say and do things that this child master would never ever have said to us on her own. So when the avatar rang the bell around her head, as he prepared to do the new word being broadcast, she saw in her third eye an unseen being climbing out of the left shoulder of her body. First, the arm came out, and then the head, and then the foot. And as she looked in her mind's eye, her spirit's eye, she saw on her right shoulder another unseen human being, cloaked, climbing out of her right shoulder. First the hand, then the head, and then the leg. And she saw briefly that they formed wings, two unseen beings, arms extended, coming out of her body, looking as if they are wings. The avatar was startled, shocked, angry that human beings can come into her body unseen and occupy it, and treat her as if she is a property that they have a right to use. So the avatar realized at the time too that if they can come into her body unseen and treat her as if she's a Trojan horse, they can do the same thing to human beings who are not developed or aware or evolved as the avatar is, being the human incarnation of the great goddess. Another evidence of the unseen of this explosive and alarming use of this technology took place weeks later when the avatar said to me one night, we're sitting in our bedroom, me at my desk in front of my computer, she at hers, in front of her computer. And I went over to her and she said to me, Andragon, there is someone looking at me through your own eyes. I was startled to hear her say that because the avatar always speaks the truth. She is clear-sighted, crystal clear-sighted, even though her human eyes have been dimmed by the damages done to her sight by Donald Trump throwing shards into her eyes. So When she told me that there was someone inside my body, she said, I know that because one of your eyes popped as if, and evidence of two beings inhabiting one body. Whatever that happens, whenever there's someone inside your body that's not yourself, it means that that person is there, and in the process, the energy of two beings of living light causes the human body to become so overcharged with energy that one of the eyes will always pop. So I went around for weeks looking into the mirror to see if there was someone inside my body, to check to see if one of my eyes was popped. And I went around a silver, banging a silver spoon against a silver pan against my head to try to irritate and aggravate anyone inside my body to force them to leave. It walked around with a dagger, with a weapon, with a cooking knife that we use to cut vegetables and meat, slash in the air, trying to intimidate these unseen criminals, not wanting to cut them, but to let them know that I will not just sit by and allow them to attack me, my family, by coming into a home, attacking a daughter. Donald Trump and Prime Minister Trudeau, as the avatar said, and myself in different broadcasts, came into our home one night and they sexually violated our daughter, raped her. Donald Trump and Prime Minister Trudeau. And her parents, Lord Ja and Emperor Sheba, two of the senior members of the Coalition of Gods, intend to make sure that this crime that has been done to their daughter is brought to the public, and these two criminals held accountable and responsible for the crimes they've committed against her, especially Donald John Trump, who's been coming into her home unseen daily and nightly for 4 decades or more. The next evidence of the use of this technology came about when the avatar and I were walking one day from our home in Scott Street, Ontario, in St. Catharines, to the mall, to the Fairview Mall. And she was carrying a bottle of vinegar spray, like this, and she was using it to spray behind her because the acidic properties in vinegar, we put it in this bottle, vinegar, it pushes any unseen being inside the environment to leave. And it also has the capability to decloak that person. As we're walking from her home to Fairview Mall, and the avatar kept spraying the vinegar around behind her at no person because no one was walking behind us any distance at all. But she kept walking and turning around and spraying the bottle of vinegar. And after about 10 minutes of walking, we're halfway to the mall, she turned around and she sprayed the vinegar. And to her surprise, someone had appeared behind her. And when she looked, she saw that there was some kind of cloud that was unveiling itself from above the body of this human being who was cloaked with this synthetic texture lined with a silicone substance that we've come to call a cloak of invisibility. So when she saw the person behind us, he was a Caucasian man, middle aged, with a beard. She said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spray you." But he wasn't there when she turned around to spray. No one was. However, he smiled and just walked and continued on his way. Further up about 20 yards, he went into the gas station, got into his car, and drove away. That was the only time in our lives that we have actually seen an unseen human being decloaked in front of our eyes while they're wearing this cloak of invisibility that is created with this futuristic technology that was given, by the way, to men of science from the Avatar's birth country of Trinidad and Tobago as a means to help Lady Gaia to restore her, to keep her body from dying because her body was starting to wobble from the 6 years of relentless bombing down across her surface by the 39 nations who fought in World War II, the war to end all war. And two of these bombs were the nuclear bombs that were dropped over Nagasaki and Hiroshima, which killed many people and infected and destroyed the bodies and minds of many others. So, this technology being used by Donald Trump, given to him by Nancy Pelosi, and a number of other people, correction, this same technology being used by Donald Trump today to attack the avatar from head to toe is attacking a womb, rectum, joints, mouth, hair, back, causing her excruciating pain continuously, stealing anything and everything he decides that he wants to take. Unseen, we can see when he takes these things, just like in the movie Doctor Strange, in that scene where Doctor Strange goes into the library and steals a few sacred books from the librarian who's there to guard these books. The librarian sits there, turns his head, and Doctor Strange comes out of the fourth dimension, takes the book, and goes. In this case, Donald Trump is cloaked. He's unseen. He looks like a shadow in the fourth dimension. And so he moves around this apartment, this suite, as they call it, that we're living in for 2 years now, 22 months, Travelers Bonaventure in Niagara Falls, Ontario. And he's terrorizing, tormenting, torturing the family that Lord Odin called members of the cosmic royal family, headed by Avatar Electra, the great goddess living as Avatar Electra, who is here as the female messiah today to bring a whole new way of being to all communities on this planet today. These include the members of the human race, the members of the plant communities, the tree beings, which Lady Gaia, Mother Earth, calls the standing ones, the ones who give us our life sustaining nutrients, oxygen, and who take in our poison, carbon monoxide or dioxide, and who gives us all the things that we need to survive as mortal tenants of Lady Gaia. The different communities of beings on this planet, part of the message, part of the job that I'm here to do with the avatar is to help human beings to reconnect with their true identity as daughters and sons of goddesses and gods, and to reclaim the vast wealth of spiritual treasures that each have been endowed with by the great goddess an eternity ago, and to also reconnect with the different communities of beings living across the surface of Lady Gaia. A long time ago, ages now, the human race used to communicate with the other communities living on the outer surface of Lady Gaia, Mother Earth, Mother Nature to you, and they would do so telepathically. They spoke to each other telepathically, mind to mind. But that ability has been removed, hidden from human beings by those gatekeepers, the ones who have come to call themselves lords and masters, and they have been misinforming, misguiding, and misleading human beings for ages now in order to keep them living thinking and viewing themselves as human puppets, spiritual, religious, human puppets, financial slaves, religious prisoners, political um, slaves of the establishment. So the technology being used by Donald Trump against the avatar for decades has managed, he has managed over the course of a number of decades to assassinate five members of the avatar's family. Her mother, the lady Yvonne, her older sister, Pastor Christian Paul, one of her older brothers, Garrick Paul, her father, Lester Paul, and another member of her family. He's taken their mortal lives from inside the fourth dimension using this stolen futuristic technology given to him by Nancy Pelosi, stored inside the black ops programs of the American military today. These crimes have been committed against our family by Donald Trump and others working with him in different systems, private, public sector, and the public. Others they co-opt and coerce to attack these three members of the cosmic royal family. Their consequences for committing these crimes against three resilient, caring, compassionate, resourceful, incomparable beings who are here on this planet to give you back your life, to broaden your identity, to deepen your understanding of who you are, what you are, where you came from, where you're going, what you're made of. As the avatar teaches you, you're beings of living light, immortal beings of living light, wearing mortal clothes of flesh and bones that you put on at birth to walk the face of the earth one lifetime at a time. And to do so, living as members of different races, classes, religions, and different human communities across this planet so that you can know firsthand what it means to be a man or a woman or a rich or poor person, what it means to live as a member of the Christian faith, the Muslim faith, the Buddhist faith, the Wiccan faith, what it means to live as a member of different races, whether you're African, Asian, Hispanic, First Nations, Oriental, whatever your racial identity, your nationality, you come back to the planet over and over again as Lord Jesus teaches, lifetime after lifetime, so that you can develop, grow, and emerge into the kind of beings that the great goddess brought you into existence to become and to be. So, for those of you who like the content of this broadcast, we invite you to share it with others and to like the content. And we also invite you to subscribe because part of my job is to bring messages from different civilizations to the human race. Civilizations that are living on the other side of life, where the departed members of the human race are returned when their mortal body dies. They go back home to the spiritual realms to live in different realms of existence at different levels. And they live in bodies that look like about 30 years old in their prime, with bodies that have no health issues, no hunger issues. They live in bodies that do not, in environments that do not support hate of any kind, though they can have disagreements, as beings do. And we're also going to introduce you to the tens of millions of human beings living inside the hollow, pristine, breathtakingly beautiful interior of Mother Gaia for a number of ages now. Beings are older, taller, more spiritually evolved, and technologically advanced than the human race is is today. So, and we also want to introduce you to the civilizations living throughout the galaxy. Existence is teeming with life, whether it's inside this solar system, any of the hundreds of billions of solar systems, any of the hundreds of billions of galaxies found throughout the multiverses today. So, for those of you listening to this broadcast, we invite you to circulate it to other members of the human race so that it can be discussed. Because for someone who is considered a predator, prey on women who bragged about being allowed by them to grab their private part, for someone who has had dozens of lawsuits filed against him by many women um, of sexual misconduct, rape, and more, for someone who has shown himself to be the most divisive, deluded, delusional, ruthless, reckless, dishonorable, disgraceful person living in America today and to ever hold the office of the president, Donald J. Trump should not have access to such a technology, nor should any other human being or any mortal being living today. The American government owes this family a tremendous amount of compensation for the crimes committed against us over the last 4 or so decades. Our Galactra's mortal body has been killed, flatlined, murdered by Donald Trump, and brought back to life, resurrected by a number of her sister goddesses, so that she will continue to do the work that she came here to do and bring a whole new way of being into an atmosphere, an environment that is on the verge of giving birth to the golden age of Gaia. So, my human brothers and sisters, thank you for listening to this broadcast. Oh, I must tell you too as well about the Avatar's childhood dream. 5 years old, she had a dream in which she saw the Lady Liberty, the statue, standing in the harbor of New York City, about 130 feet tall, standing on a platform about the same height. She saw Lady Liberty disappearing completely in the three oceans of water surrounding her body in her childhood dream as a 5, 6 year old. It happened in 4 stages. And at the end of this dream, she was told by one of her sister goddess that the United States of America had just disappeared completely inside the oceans surrounding her body currently today. And also too that the nation of Canada also was pulled into the waters of Lady Gaia by her elemental children, wind, air, water, and earth. Thank you for listening to this broadcast. Blessings to each of you. Have a good day, and I will speak to you again. Goodbye.